I have some really bad news. True, my beloved dog, unexpectedly passed last Thursday night. I made this message to let everyone know because I'm finding it hard to address it in person. It is hard to say, and it gives me the opportunity to go through some of her pictures and remember True and all the good times we had together. Last Thursday night around 8:30, I was going to call it an early night and go to bed. Normally True just follows me upstairs, but this night she didn't, and I had to try to coach her to come up. She didn't want to move, which was strange, and so I decided I'd just pick her up and carry her up to my room. When I set her on the end of the bed, she didn't look right. I, I called Chanel up to take a look at her, and Chanel instantly said she needs to go to the vet. She's not breathing right and something. She needs to go to emergency. Then I FaceTimed Janet, and she agreed that something was wrong with Toy, and she needed to go to the vet. And she gave me the name of a Peninsula Emergency Veterinarian in San Mateo. Um, so that's what we did is we put Tori in the car, and then I drove down there. When I got there, she was looked at by a veterinarian, Dr. Wolf. He assessed her, and he told me that Toy had some sort of internal bleeding. He did an ultrasound, and he could see that there was fluid in her abdomen, and then uh, the fluid had to get drained out, and then the fluid that it ended up being blood, and so they had to replenish the blood that she was being lost, and keep draining the blood that was accumulating in her abdomen. And it was like an emergency situation. She had to have something done immediately because it wasn't clear what was the cause of the fluid blood. Um, he described to me that it's common or somewhat common in retrievers that they get a tumor, and then that tumor will burst, and then that's where the blood is leaking into her abdomen, and that tumor needs to be surgically removed. And but it was very critical, and it's life threatening. Um, but unfortunately, at that hospital, there was no surgeons on site. They wouldn't be able to get them there till the next day, and then also they didn't have any of the blood plasma to replenish her. Um, they did have a donor dog on site, was one of the employees, and they could actually transfer blood from the Dalmatian to Toy to keep her through the night. Then I suggested maybe we call up. I called up Sage veterinarian, and they said that they did have a surgeon on site, and then they did have the plasma, um, everything that Toy needed. And so I decided that it's best to transfer her to Sage in Redwood City. So that's what we did. We packed her back up in my car, and I drove real quick to Sage, and we got there fairly quickly. Um, um, Once I got there, I really didn't know any of the medical terms or anything about what she had. I wrote down some notes, and they rushed her into the operating room, and I started frantically looking things up, trying to figure out what it is she had. I tried to understand options and what was happening. And I wasn't in the room too long, about maybe 10 minutes, and then the surgeon came into the room, and she told me to that I need to go into this operating room and basically say goodbye to Toy, because she wasn't going to make it through the surgery. She was dying at that time. I was stunned, had no idea. I was just kind of like blindly followed her into the operating room, and I saw Toy laying there, and she wasn't moving, and I just got up really close to her, and I looked her in the face, and all she could do is she just kind of moved her eyes and looked straight into my eyes. We were practically touching noses, and she looked at me in such a way that it was just she looked at me like she was trying to comfort me. And I tried to not look too sad. I didn't want to worry her. And the veterinarian said she was going to get two shots. And the first one was going to take any pain away. And then when I was ready, the second one was going to put her to sleep. And it was very emotional. And then she put her to sleep, and then moved us into another room. And, before we got into that room, Alvin had called me, and I told him what was going on, and like Alvin always does, he came down. And we sat in that room for a long time, and it was just really sad seeing Toy in such a short amount of time, perfectly healthy and acting normal, and then like within 3 hours she was gone. I didn't want to have her ashes. I've got too many boxes of pet ashes in my house. I just didn't want to do that, and I decided to have her ashes spread over the ocean. And the nurse gave me some clippings of her hair. I know that Toy is a pet, but I never really felt that way. Toy loved everybody. She was never mean. She liked every animal. Sometimes I wish more people were like her. I know she was overly excited every time someone came to see her. It was particularly bad with people that she liked a lot. But anyhow, I'm gonna miss her a lot. This is a description of what we think happened to her, and there was never a real determination of how it happened, whether it was a tumor or something else could have happened. She could have got into some rat poison, which I highly doubt, and she could have actually injured herself somehow, which I don't think either. I think that she had developed some sort of tumor on her spleen, and that tumor just so happened to bust Thursday night. So Tori was born on Christmas Day, 2014. That's her mother. She had 11 puppies, 6 males and 5 females. And I asked the lady that was bringing the puppies up to pick for me. And I asked for the smallest female, and that's ended up being Toy. I remember once she was healthy enough and old enough to travel, it happened to be a year there was a lot of snowstorms, and her flight was delayed 3 times. And I just remember I couldn't wait for her to come in. When she finally arrived, Cindy and Cambria went with me to the airport. It took a long time before I could even hold Toy. They wouldn't let me. They just held her, and they were loving her, and she was adorable, and it was really a happy day. I remember that day very well. It was interesting. The next morning, Toy had never seen any grass or anything. It was all snow. When she went out in the yard, she just hopped around and laid in the grass and was just, just completely happy about being in a regular yard, I guess. But it was interesting watching her. It seemed like the only thing Toy ever wanted was just to be loved, and she wanted to love everybody. She never was really thrilled about getting treats or anything. She just wanted to be held and petted and show her love to you. That was Toy. I remember on her first birthday, we had a little dog birthday party, and all the dogs that we could gather was invited, and made a special little bone cake, and that was fun. She, always got along with every animal. Every Christmas was her birthday, and I started a tradition on her first birthday, and every birthday after that was to take her to Devil's Slide, which is a beautiful walk, and that's what her birthday present was, is that walk. And each time was different, and it was, but it was always beautiful. And I remember one time there was a guy walking the opposite way, and which on Christmas Day there's not a lot of people walking around. And I thought it was kind of surprising. And as he got closer and closer, I was like, oh my God, that's Santa Claus. So I asked him to take a picture with Toy, and it was just a funny day. And and that was Toy's birthday present. And another thing is, Toy was very, very smart. She understood in higher levels and not just dogs sit and stay and all that kind of stuff. She really understood what was going on. And when she was in classes, she was always like the role model and the example for the instructors. Oh, well, here's how Toy does it, and da da da, and she'd be the one doing it. But as soon as I got her home, she went right back to her normal self, didn't listen to anything, just had her own way, and she was always like that. Yeah, one of her favorite things was to go to the beach. She loved the beach. Anytime, I sometimes felt guilty if I didn't take her enough, but um, she'd get on the beach and just start running around and enjoying everything. It was her favorite. And she also just liked hanging out. She hung out with any and everybody, all the animals. Just wanted to be a part of something. One year, we took Cambria back to her school, and we borrowed Megan's convertible. That was a really fun trip, and Toy just rode along with us. It was fun. Also, Toy liked the outdoors. She was a great hiker. We did big trips. She would backpacking and stuff. She would run all the way to the front of the crowd and then check on everyone, and then run all the way to the back of the crowd where the old people were and check on us. That was just the way Toy was.
Toy.
Also, another thing, Toy loved going to the concerts. She didn't miss any of them. And she was always, she got along with people as young as 3 years old and as old as 100 years old. She just loved everybody. And she liked going to the concerts, even though they were loud. She just kind of put up with it and hung out. I think a lot of people got to meet her. Really liked seeing her every week. And she's not much of a dancer, but she did like hanging out with everyone. And there's a little video of her and Cambria dancing in slow-mo to get all that hair action. I don't think she missed a year's, except for when COVID, when we didn't have any concerts. But every opportunity, and she knew the right way too. I didn't have to tell her. She just go right through the crowd, go right up to where we always sat. Beautiful dog. It's not going to be the same going to the concerts without her, that's for sure. So, anyhow, I'm gonna miss her, and I'm sure everybody else is too. Lovely dog. And I know everyone's gonna wanna call and say something and talk to me, but the reason why I made this is because I don't think I can right now talk, and I'm just going to, kind of lay low till I can get this feeling under control. And that's it. Thank you for watching this, and I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and maybe in the New Year's we'll get together. Okay, thanks.